All right, so we're going to talk about some hip mobility. Hip mobility is probably the #1 reason people develop injuries in any athletic sport or activity or anything, is lack of hip mobility. So the hips are pretty important. And we're going to go over 3 really simple ways to open up the hips. The first one we're going to do is what's called 90-90. Again, we're using young, limber people so that we don't have to accommodate injuries. If you have any, certainly feel free to reach out and ask us. So I'm going to have Haley sit down in what we call the 90-90 position. So where 90-90 comes from is the angle of the knees here, right? So this is a very controlled movement, and it gets internal and external rotation into the hips in a controlled manner. So what she's going to do, she's going to keep her torso up, bring her knees, leaving her feet where they sit, and then dropping them to the other side, trying to keep the torso nice and centered, and then take it back the other way. And as she's doing, she's changing internal to external rotation out of each of them. So sitting up nice and tall, keep the core nice and tall. The core is a lifting mechanism, and back down. Nice, slow, smooth speed. You don't want to go fast. You want to go very slow with these and very controlled. If you have trouble controlling the speed, engage the core pretty aggressively. So this is the 90-90. The next one we're going to do goes from a similar position. I'm going to have you change positions and face me here so everybody can see. And you're going to go back onto your elbow. And then from here, she's going to take this arm and reach back further behind her. And what this is going to do, it's going to put a big stretch along the front chain of this leg here, okay? So the movement here is to kind of keep the shoulders where they are and this part of the hip pushing that hip forward. It's a very subtle movement, but it's extremely effective, and you'll feel a very strong pull down through the front of the leg there. You're even going to feel it into the lower quads probably. To increase the intensity here, she can push this foot into the ground. And in so doing, you see that subtle movement in the hip, that's going to increase the intensity there. Or she can walk this foot back up towards the back of her head. So up towards my hand here, this will dramatically increase this as well. Little movements go a long way with this. Again, be very slow, be very controlled. Take 3 or 4 good slow deep breaths here, and then come off the stretch nice and slow, and then get to the other side. So the last one that we're going to do for the hips is what's called the side leg roll. Get our props here. This can be anything. We can use pillows, we can use foam rollers. I use a foam roller in the clinic. So she's going to lay on her side here, resting this leg onto the ball here. Now the goal is to keep this level with the ground. You don't want this going down or coming up. So something kind of nice and level that supports the knee, okay? This can be a belt. Again, you want something that doesn't stretch a lot. This guy right here. The only reason she's holding this is to help support a little bit. The higher this knee goes, the more intense this stretch is. So what she's going to do with the toes pulled back is extend the knee just like this, right? From here, she's going to use the hip to roll the knee towards the ground here, and then come back and take it back the other direction. Again, nice and slow, pausing for about 1 to 2 seconds in each position. It needs to be a conscious movement of the muscles. To increase the intensity, there's 2 things she can do. One is arch the back. Arch up nice and tall. That will definitely isolate and increase that pull all the way down that posterior chain. And then that increases the mobility that you're going to gain in the hip. Back and forth. The other, she can bend the knee here, move the knee up a little bit higher. Do it again. This is probably pretty intense. Even 90 degrees on a well-seasoned mobile athlete is going to be pretty intense for this. So if you're way back here somewhere, don't let that flip you out. That's fine. Start wherever you're at and increase your mobility. So nice and slow, good slow movements. That's the hip. These are great activation techniques, so these are great as part of your warm-ups as well. So hopefully that helps. If you got any questions, reach out to us.